Salute, welcome to Wake Up the Black Nation. I am here with Brother Speak Easy. What's going on, brother, sir?
What's happening, Richmond?
Man, hey, this is what's happening. Right now, we in an underground bunker with this brother, and he's going to explain to you all some things that y'all need to know concerning survival and preparedness. This brother right here is the expert.
Well, I won't call myself that, but I will tell you that as you and I've been chopping it up about, we need to be prepared. Whether it's a natural disaster or otherwise, you need to literally address some basic things. And from my point of view, it was all about food.
Mm-hmm.
If I can't feed myself, if I can't sustain myself, what good am I from that point on? So it really became, how do I get smart about storing food, healthy food, long term? So down here, as you can see, 5-gallon pail buckets. And again, all this information I'm telling you right now, I learned online from YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
And there's plenty of information that goes into it.
Okay.
But I got 5-gallon buckets in Mylar bags, food grade, shelf life estimated anywhere from 15 years to 25 years. And this is pretty much all of my grain store. Long grain rice, kamut, short grain rice, popcorn, black-eyed peas, lentils, oats for oatmeal, barley, quinoa, rye berries, dry cat food for my cat, wet cat food for my cat. I'll get into more details about what goes on into this dry system because it's really important.
Okay.
And I'll explain why we use the 5-gallon pail bucket and why that makes sense. But over here you can see just basic things that make life pleasant, A variety of peanut butters, canned goods, all make sure they're in a non-BPA containers and liners.
What does BPA mean, brother?
Biphenyl phosphate. I don't know the scientific name. But
Yeah.
basically, it's a chemical that leaches into your food products, and a lot of aluminum cans actually are coated with them. A lot of materials, period, have them, and you want non-BPA. Over here, specifically in the dry goods, the system that I found best that works is this whole idea of putting your grains, your rice, your legumes, whatever you're going to put in a food grade Mylar bag. And there's a company called Sorbent Systems. You can order online. They got a Mylar sheet that's really thick. And it's set up specifically for a 5-gallon pail food pails. And that's literally what it's called, a 5-gallon Mylar bag from this company. And I ordered 150 sheets because even with a big sheet like this, you can cut it and use it for small applications like my grits. I got 5-pound bags of grits, but this is in a much better, longer term packaging with oxygen absorbers than you get in the store. These will last me 15 years worth of grits as opposed to just keeping them in the store ball.
15 years.
15 years, minimum. The enemy of food is light, moisture, and air. So you really want to create a barrier that's going to prevent all three. And these Mylar bags do exactly that. You buy your long-term, large quantities. I get most of these from a farmer's market, buy in bulk. In this case, these are beans. You would literally pour these until you have filled the Mylar bag until you got about 1 inch of headroom and space. You then would take a clamp that's also available by the same company to sell it. And with the heat, just like a curling iron, you seal the top of this and leave a little bit of a space. Leave maybe about a good inch and a half space. So once you've got it sealed, your food product is in, and you've got it in, you press out as much of the air as you can. Then you open up your bag of oxygen absorbers. And in this case, these are 500 cc. I tend to order smaller units of oxygen absorbers from the same company because I can use them in multiple applications. So for a 5-gallon pail with this, I'll put in maybe 6.
Okay.
6 to 7 of these. And literally, as you can see from this one, once it closes, this is rice that was done. It creates an airtight seal. There's absolutely no air whatsoever in that bag. That rice that's packed in here is solid like a cement brick. And it's going to last me a minimum of 15 years. Again, the reason for also including in the 5-gallon pails, it just makes it easy to port and carry around. They're far more portable. Also water resistant. I mean, at this point, If it gets wet, if this place ever floods, you got an added layer of protection. Now, none of this stuff is rodent proof, you know. So if it ever gets to a situation like that, rats can gnaw through this, and it's not a problem. But again, short of that, and that's one of the reasons I got a cat. But short of that, that's probably the best method I've seen for long-term, non-perishable food storage.
So what are some things, some foods that our brothers and sisters can get right now if they're on a budget to get prepared for a storm?
Small things, you know. Start off with your basics: rice, beans, grits. From there, start adding other things, whether it's other grains like quinoa, a very healthy and nutritious grain. Oats for oatmeal. You know, ultimately rye and barley that can be ground up and ultimately used to make some type of bread. You know, again, I mentioned pets. If you got a cat or dog, you know, at some point you're gonna have to do something for them, at least in the near term. You know, it may get to a situation where it's, you know, all folks for themselves, but at least in the short term. And it can be gradual. A couple of extra cans each time you go through the checkout. Pick up 2 or 3 extra cans of beans, black beans. Again, non-BPA cans. And start storing them up. And it doesn't take a lot. You know, I've got on hand now, truly, more than enough food, far more than 90 days. You know,
Yeah.
I'm going to be okay. Me and my cat going to be all right. You know, I'm talking out into the year's time frame.
Yes, sir.
And again, this is only one aspect of this. This is the dry storage portion. One of the things I spend a lot of time with: how do you garden? You know, can you garden and produce most of your food? Second, after that, is how do you forage? If you can't garden and you're out in your own environment, what wild food sources are available to you that, again, heretofore, our ancestors, people here, used to eat off the land.
That's right.
We don't even know those plants. We can't even recognize, but that's changing. You got classes here in this city, urban foragers. People go around and they're actually trying to learn about what's in the immediate environment that could literally make the difference between life or death. People in Puerto Rico, I guarantee you, if they had access to some of this kind of information, it would make a difference in sort of their conditions and what they're going through.
That's right. We got about 40 seconds left, and this is part 1, brothers and sisters. The brother's going to go further into the teachings. But I want to, before we leave, I want you to let them know about how much money would they spend to get a general kit of food right now at this time.
That's the thing. A lot of people out like this is prohibitively expensive. These 5-gallon pails come from Home Depot, and I know a lot of people say, well, that's not food grade. Well, as long as you're using food grade Mylar bags, then the actual external container, it's less important that it be a food grade plastic. So I didn't spend the extra money on food grade buckets instead. I wanted